Hi. Okay, this is a PvZ on Blue Storm. My opponent is about B level or so. I don't know, something like that. He could be better, even B plus ish, or the border of B and B plus. But whatever the case, it means that he's not very bad. On Blue Storm, it's pretty obvious, but I'm gonna say it anyway. On this map, since the entrance is kind of big and so on, it's very hard to make like a good proxy gate build on this map. Since it's quite easy to make a run by to your main with links if you do proxy gate, unless you wanna like risk your whole game on it. That's why this map isn't a very good choice for making a 2-gate proxy rush or whatever. But so you pretty much gotta fast expand every single game. On this map you can see a lot of builds from the Zerg, but one pretty popular build is the overpull speedling run by. It's a bit less popular in this map recently, since the entrance width is kind of small compared to, for example, Othello, so making a run by is pretty hard, plus the fact that you can make a very good block on this map, which makes it much harder for a run by. But in either way you still gotta scout him early, since even 5 and 6 pull builds aren't unheard of in this map, as it's only one spot and you can easily block the entrance to delay his scouting and so on. Anyway, I noticed him doing an overpull build, so naturally I don't cancel my forge. Since he also made a speed build, I see him making an extractor as well, so it's pretty obvious that he's gonna make either overpull speed or maybe like 8 links, and instead of making a run by, he's just gonna make maybe prevent me from scouting anything and make a few less links and so on. Also notice that on this map, if you're careful enough, you can make a nexus before forge. Before making extra cannons, even if he does overpull. But in that case, you gotta be a bit careful with what he has. The reason why this is, even though it's a kind of small distances and even though you can block the entrance and so on, is that you can block the entrances, so the small distance isn't necessarily a problem. And since there are 2 entrances which you can block, it means that you can buy several seconds time, which is just enough to block whatever he's doing. In either way, you're gonna make like 14 X's, maybe 14 cannon if you want to be a bit safer. Also, besides that, then you can make a gateway. Usually, if instead of attacking your scouting probe, he goes straight for your expansion, you gotta place your second cannon before making a gateway, since that way you can get the second cannons in time before he really attacks and so on. Also place your pylon about now when you have 16 or 17, since you have extra money and so on at that point. And if you do that, you don't have to delay your probe production for quite as long. Some people prefer making a cybernetics core before making your second pylon, since you get that the new nexus is going to provide you quite a bit of supply pretty early afterwards. But you're still gonna get both pretty much instantly, well, not quite, but almost instantly after you start whatever you're doing. So your cybernetics core won't be that much later, and you're able to have a zealot and a couple of probes earlier, which is a very good thing if he's doing a run by. Also notice that in PvZ it's very important to try and scout in whatever ways possible. In this game, like a pretty good Zerg, he denied pretty much all of my scouting with more or less luck, but either way he denied it. But the thing is, you can't rely on just your one scouting probe on getting good results from the scouting. You also gotta be constantly scouting, thinking of how can I scout him and how can I get the best possible result and so on. For example, even before your first scouting probe is dead, you could already send a second one around the map and completely dodge whatever paths he may use to and in that way avoid all his links, and you might be able to get a shot of what he has, how many hatcheries, how many expansions, if he has a lair coming, and so on. But that's not always the case. For example, right now he could be doing pretty much anything. I only know that he has 2 hatcheries and a speedling upgrade already, and so on, and quite a few links. So he could be making a fast spire or whatever else. But in that case, instead of just playing it risky, well, you can play risky if you want, but in this case it's usually not necessary to make a Corsair first, so you're able to figure out what he's doing in decent time. I also had some extra money, so I'm adding a second gateway run now. Also make a Corsair. Usually if you're completely clueless on what he has, it's more useful to simply send your first Corsair straight to his main and then decide on whatever you're doing, since unless he's making an exceptionally fast mutas, you'll be able to cannon up properly before his mutas come, even if you send your first Corsair straight to his main. And since I'm not completely sure on what he's doing, and the second Corsair can help me out, I decided to make a second Corsair as well. Also notice that I made 1 cannon to my main. That 1 cannon is gonna make all the difference in the world if he made a fast mutas. That's why I decided to add it. Now I noticed that he had a mutas already out, which means that he made very fast mutas, and in that case my second Corsair is gonna come in very useful. I also keep making more Corsairs, and I added Templar Archive since I didn't have it yet. I also need a second cannon at least in my main. This 1 cannon just doesn't cut it, even if you have extra Corsairs. Now you can use be careful with your Corsairs though, since he might have Scourge, and in that case you can lose your Corsairs almost instantly and lose a huge amount of your advantage you might have had, and also make pretty much everything vulnerable that you have. And since I want to be safe, and he seems to be doing a very aggressive meta build, I decided to add a 3rd cannon just in case. Also, even if he didn't make muta, making multiple Corsairs, at least 2, can still be useful, since my first Corsair scouts his main and kills the overlords over there or nearby there, and my second Corsair scouts the surrounding areas around my base, and that becomes really useful when it comes to like defeating a hydra rush as well, since if you can kill all the overlords around your base or even close by your base, you're gonna have a huge advantage when he's making a hydra rush, since you can just he won't have any detection against your Dark Templars, which you might then use for your defense, and that can really come in useful if you're not prepared for blocking a fast hydra pressure otherwise. I also decided to start Storm, making some more gateways and so on. I can't really move out yet, and so instead of just making a really quick expansion like I sometimes do, I'm just gonna play it safe and move out with a slightly bigger army, do a bit more aggressive pressure and so on. Also notice since he lost pretty much every single one of his mutas and he didn't seem to be remaking them, I don't really need an Archon at this point. I have those 3 or 4 Corsairs, which are going to be more than enough for me for now, and those few High Templars I'm just going to use against Lurkers or Hydras or whatever he might be doing. And also don't forget to expand. Right now when I've broken out, I'm out of my base and I need a new base to get a proper advantage over him. So instead of just waiting uselessly to make a new base, I'm just going to make my second expansion instantly after